Hello everyone. Let's use AI to gauge our Rust level. So what we're going to do is ask it to build us a 10 question multiple choice question. I think that's the easiest way for it to do some form of evaluation of our skills. So I'm going to get it to do these questions. Um, I've not, these are brand new questions. So I'm taking a risk here because I did this kind of thing yesterday and I did okay, did quite well, but let's see. Um, I think these are in ascending order of difficulty. Yeah, okay. So number one, what happens when you assign a string to another variable? So A and B both own the same data. No. Um, the data is copied. The ownership moves to B. I think that's the right answer. So let's what I'm going to do is type them into Notepad, and then we will paste them in at the end and get ChatGPT just to give us our score. Number two, borrowing rules. Which is allowed? Two mutable references at the same time. Definitely not. One mutable and one immutable reference at the same time. That doesn't really make much sense. C, that looks good. And D doesn't really make much sense. So let's go for C. So that's our two beginner questions. Hopefully we got those right, because otherwise we're in trouble. Pattern matching beginner to intermediate. What does this return? Okay, so sum 3. If V, which is if 3 is greater than 2, return 10. That looks like the favorite. So yeah, 3 is greater than 2, so it's the top one. So we are returning 10. So that is D. Um, I have done this with Claude as well, and Claude was slightly better questions and slightly more difficult. We'll get to that at the end. Got that annoying quote thing in there. Is it going to go? Yeah. Why do we use traits in Rust? Well, it's definitely not to replace structs. That's a stupid answer. To enable dynamic typing. Nope. To avoid lifetimes? Definitely not. That doesn't make any sense at all. To define shared behavior. Let's go for that. So these questions are similar topic to what I did yesterday evening, but they are different questions. So it's not as if you could memorize the answer and falsify results. So question 5, generics versus trait objects. What is a key difference? Generics use heap allocation, trait objects don't. That doesn't make any sense. Trait objects allow dynamic dispatch. Okay. D is the wrong way round. Trait objects are slower than generics, so it's definitely not D. So it's choice between B and C. Generics require. No, they don't require box. That doesn't make any sense. So it's B. 5 is B. Lifetimes, so intermediate to advanced. What problem do lifetimes solve? Memory leaks? No. Thread safety? Nothing to do with threads. Stack overflows? No. Dangling references? Let's go with 6 is C. Um, Partial disclaimer. I did this test, I think it was last night or the night before. I realized I had a gap in my understanding with send and sync. So I probably am going to be getting a 1 out of 10 extra because I've learned what send and sync are more thoroughly. I kind of knew before, but I've solidified my understanding, shall we say. So a type T is send if it can safely be shared. No, so send is move and sync is share. So it's can be safely moved between threads. So that's 7 is B. I feel like we're doing okay here. I know they say pride comes before a fall, but I hope you're doing these along as well. Or pause the video, put down your scores, your answers. Um, Obviously, if you copy my prompt, make me a 10-question MCQ multi-choice questionnaire to check my level, you can do this yourself. Or if you want to compare yourself against me, which yeah, you're not setting your standards very high. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm being modest. I've been learning Rust for I think 2 years or 3 years. I lose track. What are async functions in lazy? What? Start again. Have a swig of tea. Why are async functions lazy in Rust? They run on demand. They start executing immediately. They only run when awaited. They require a runtime. Okay, this question's so I think the answer's C, but D is slightly so you need like a Tokyo runtime too. Yes, let's go for C. They only run when awaited. That's why they are lazy. Interior mutability. So I did a video on this the other day. Let's hope I get this one right. Which type allows mutation through an immutable reference? So immutable. So that's read. It's going to be B or C. Okay. Which type allows mutation through an immutable reference? I think it's B. Reference count. No. B is reference count for read. Mutation is ref cell. So C, let's go for C. And we're on to the last question, everybody. So if this was a live stream, I'd be asking everyone to put in the comments whether they want to do a Claude version. I think I will. I've got half a cup of tea left and nothing better to do. So what does zero cost abstraction mean in Rust? Handwritten code. I don't think A is. That sounds a bit odd. I'm thinking C is the answer. Oh, I'd like to get up to, I'd like to get 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 here. To be honest, these questions are slightly similar to the ones yesterday. They're not the same questions, but they're of a slightly. I'm starting to understand the topics. So I would say if you're going to do this test, you're probably um, uh, your most relevant, your most accurate grading will probably be the first time you do this. I think I got 8 out of 10 the first time. I did it again. It's 10, 9. Um, I'm building up suspense. This is what YouTubers do, isn't it? They kind of drag out a 5 minute video into like 14 minutes because then they can get the extra advert in. So I don't know what the time is on this, but I'll try not to be annoying like that. So the compiler removes all abstractions. Traits are always in there. It's not particular to traits. Rust programs don't allocate memory. Well, that's none. Abstractions have no runtime cost compared to handwritten code. Oh, that doesn't really make. So let's go for C. Right. This is this. I think this should be 9 out of 10. I think. I'm hoping 10 would be not even nicer, but need like a drum roll. I think I will. Okay, so I did get that last one wrong. I was going to say I probably deserve 8 or 9 because I do know obviously this is not rehearsed. Um, Zero cost abstraction means you pay no runtime penalty for using high level abstractions compared to equivalent handwritten low level code. Okay, yeah, so the compiler does not remove all abstractions. It monomorphizes, inlines, and optimizes, but the abstraction still exists conceptually. This is a classic senior level trap question. Missing it is normal. Okay. What would push you fully into senior territory? Given your history, Tokyo, MCP, async, Rust, Actix, trait heavy designs. Okay, yeah. I don't know whether to be worried or pleased that it's got a understanding of my history. Um, so to push into senior territory, I would like to do that. Um, so learn how future is a state machine. Okay. Um, wow. Why self-referential futures are hard. This is the question. When I was a Cisco engineer, I was happy and wanted to reach CCNP professional level, but I wasn't happy to spend every waking hour reading the most detailed white papers, PDFs, manuals, textbooks to be an absolute expert, but yet in the real world, if any senior devs are watching this, which I'll be flattered if you are, but is that important? Is it important to know why self-referential futures are hard? I don't even know what that means. I mean, does that mean hard to learn? Yeah, I'm out of my depth there. Maybe that's why. I'm glad I got 9 out of 10. If I got 10 out of 10, that would have been not. I would have questioned this test. Trait system edge cases, object safety rules, higher rank trait bounds, impl trait versus dynamic trait trade-offs. I kind of know a bit about that. Memory layout. Uh, Again, I don't really have a huge aspiration to go beyond Rust, and at the moment, don't want to have to learn additional sort of compatibility, FFI, ABI stuff. I'm happy to learn it kind of, what's the modern word, organically, but I don't want to take up time from doing enjoyable coding just to memorize stuff which I may or may not. Let's make this bigger because you've seen the score, 9 out of 10. So yeah, I'll be interested to what you get. And I say the first time I did this, I think I got 8 out of 10. But I got caught out on a couple of the questions, the send and the sync one. So I've gone away and learned that, and I think that's boosted me from an 8 on this test to a 9 on this test. But it doesn't mean I've magically become a 10% better developer. It's just that I've learned a bit more of the topics which this test focuses on to differentiate between a junior, intermediate, mid, senior, advanced, and then senior. They actually say advanced before senior. Yeah, there we go, like advanced to senior. So yeah, gap compiler and async internals, unsafe abstractions. So question one is, do you want to learn that? Um, and you have to think about the opportunity cost. Do I want to become a Rust expert, but at the expense of learning other stuff? For instance, a company may want you to be very, very knowledgeable about AI, LLMs, and so on, or vector databases. So, do you really want to go deep down the rabbit hole on all of these advanced Rust topics? I'm saying I don't at this moment, but if you want, I can do a senior only Rust quiz, give you interview style questions. No, I don't really have any ambition to do any job interviews anytime soon. I would rather get hired off the back of my GitHub profile, or maybe even my learning Rust videos, who knows, or design a 1 week plan to lock in true. I might do this at some point. Get it to do a plan for getting me up to the kind of the next level. Okay, let's do it again then. So let's clear this, hide that, and Mr. Moo is kind of one of my burner addresses, aliases, just because it's easy to say. um, can you make a 10 question MCQ multi-choice questionnaire on Rust to establish my level and I just want to try and say to kind of make the test diverse enough, just on the off chance that I'm still a beginner. Um, then do not give the level until I have pasted in the question responses, until I've pasted in all of the as a chunk. I just want to tell it that I want to answer all 10 questions in one go. I don't want to do one question, answer it, do the next question, answer it. So I'll create a 10 question multiple choice quiz that progressively increases in difficulty to assess your Rust knowledge level. I wish it wouldn't do it in difficulty level, because as you're going along, you've already kind of got a feel in your head for how well you're doing. I've created a 10 question quiz that ranges from basic syntax to advanced concepts. The questions cover basic syntax and mutability, ownership and borrowing. So they'll be the two. Oh, they'll be the two beginner ones. Intermediate, traits and iteration, error handling, string types. Yeah, there we go. And then advanced, pin, async, memory safety. Oh, right, the quiz is up here somewhere. Claude's got a habit of doing this. You think it's kind of missed something, and then you have to go and click on that little file. So, what is the correct way to declare a mutable variable in Rust? Okay, not A, not B, so it's C. One is C. Two, what will this code? Let me just check that again. Mutable. Yeah. Sometimes you can be a bit glib with the easy ones, and you need to make sure you get the easy ones right. What will this code print? S1, a string from hello. S2 equals S1. Print. It won't compile because S1's been consumed. So 2, C. Question 3. Which trait must a type implement to be used in a for loop? Well, I would say A, but C, isn't for just syntactic sugar for loop? No, 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 no. Trait, okay, A. I think that should not be troubling me, but that's the problem with these tests is it's very theoretical. So it's kind of, yeah, you could write code all day long, but okay, what is the purpose of the question mark operator in Rust? It marks a value as optional. No. It propagates errors back up the call stack. Yes. Okay, we don't need to. 4B. That one's bothering me. Import iterator for my type. It's got to be that, hasn't it? Which trait must a type implement? Yeah, it's not loop, it's not trait. Okay, 5. What is the difference between ampersand string reference, and a string? It's nothing. So no, A's the wrong way around. B, string slice is borrowed. String is an owned heap allocated string. Just B. 6. Okay. Question about lifetimes. So it's going to be saying if something outlives something else, or it's not which one outlives, it's which one is valid for. It's to do with valid, at least as long, yeah, valid for at least as long as the shorter of the two input lifetimes. The function takes two strings and returns a new string that lives as long as both inputs. I find these quite tricky, these lifetime questions. The returned reference is valid for at least as long as both input. No, so it's not C. At least as long as the shorter of the. I think it's B. Yeah, it's the shorter. You have to. That's the key with lifetimes. It's the shorter of the two. If you're working with two. Question 7. Which is true about RC and ARC-T? RCT and ARC-T. RC is no, that's the wrong way around. ARC is thread safe. ARC-T uses atomic operations and is thread safe. RC is not. Well, it's B, isn't it? The thing that always bothers me is when you're doing a multi-choice question, if you get lots of the same letter all in a row, or for the like here, I could end up with all B's, and you start doubting yourself. You think, well, it can't all be B. Perhaps I need to go back and change one. But no, don't do that. What does the pin type guarantee? The value's memory location won't change. It won't be moved. Pretty sure it's that. The values memory it's to do with memory location. You're pinning them. Wow, eight. Yeah, after what I just said about bees, but you can't just question the letter. Maybe these multi-choice questions on AI, maybe it kind of has a slight bias towards B always being the correct answer. I don't know. What is the difference between async fn and a function that returns impl future? There is no difference. They're equivalent. No. Async fn always boxes the future. Impl future doesn't. Async fm is a syntax sugar that creates a state machine. It cannot name the return type explicitly. No, so it's not D. It's not to do with boxes, so it's not B. Um, no, I don't think that is. So it's C. If you'd asked me that, I probably would not have explained. I would not have been able to explain that, but I know which is the correct answer. So that's one of the slight benefits of multi-choice. What is unsound code in Rust? Pretty sure that's going to be B. Code that panics at runtime? I mean, unsafe code. Usually in unsafe blocks. It's got to be B again, hasn't it? I'm not overconfident on this. I think I might get two wrong. I'm thinking of from from the one I did earlier today. I think I was getting 9 out of 10 on ChatGPT and 8 on Claude. 9. Okay. Yes, I had my doubts about that one. The Intuit. It should have been Intuit. It's not the sort of thing that I've done much recently, other than when you're studying from a textbook, you do that. Um, Rust in a month of lunches, I've done that several times, but because you don't implement your own iterator that often, I've just kind of my my mind has been filled with other stuff. Okay, your level, advanced slash senior. So I need to look on my YouTube channel. I think I'm about to go into. Yeah, I think I've on and off. I've now been learning Rust for 3 years. Yeah, 3 full years. I think this Christmas was the anniversary of me starting to learn Rust. I think this is flattering, and before anybody gives me the thumbs down, because there seem to be quite a lot of hostile people on watching YouTube videos these days. I don't know if it's kind of people on the neurodivergent who are a bit like I love Linus Torvalds, but some people can be quite unthoughtful about other people sometimes. So the one miss, question 3, inter-iterator versus iterator, subtle but important distinction. While types used in for loops often implement iterator, the for loop specifically calls into iter, which requires into iterator. Yeah, because it's passing by value. Yeah, I need to remember. I need to well, not not remember, but I just need to just make a note that for uses into iter, so that's passing by value. For is by value. You're clearly working at an advanced level with Rust. You understand not just the syntax, but the underlying concepts around ownership, lifetimes, concurrency, and even advanced features like pin. The thing is, I know that answer because I've read it, but I don't use pin. So I would argue that I probably have the knowledge, maybe have the knowledge of a senior developer, but I don't have the, the practice, the regular use. But then again, I guess this is just a ten question multi-choice question is just a guide. It's not necessarily it's not like a 2 hour professional exam, is it? You're well equipped for production Rust development. So any employers out there who want to hire me, I'm advanced senior, and Claude said so. And there's no, I've not got another screen here. I'm sat on my sofa on a Saturday evening drinking tea. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that video. It's a little bit different, but I think it's food for thought. What I might get it to do is to suggest 10 advanced, 10 advanced questions, and then really kind of poke or tease out my weaknesses. And then I'll make a decision if those weak areas are actually areas that I want to improve on. Um, it's an opportunity cost, as I say. Do you want to spend weeks learning some really, really advanced Rust features when you might not use them and you might be better off in the real world learning, yeah, learning more about vector databases or model context protocol, or learning more on CI/CD, TDD. Um, what So many things to learn, and only so much time to learn it. So thank you for watching, and good luck with your quiz. If any of you want to post what your scores were in the comments, feel free. This is a new thing. You have to encourage viewers to be interactive and thumbs up and subscribe, and also to add comments. And the modern thing is to ask questions. So yeah, my question to you is what score did you get? And also, do you think this is even remotely representative? I would say it's maybe, I don't know, partially. I wouldn't like to give a percentage as to how representative. Easy for me to say, you know what I mean. Right, thanks for watching. Be back soon.